Hey everybody, MotorPoet59 here. Well, today is Earth Day 2020. Isn't that special? Except that it's such a crock of shit. I'm sure there are people out there who actually believe in that cause and they want to help. And as far as that goes, I'm not for tearing things up. I'm not an environmentalist, but I am a conservationalist. I love dirt bikes and motorcycles, and I like all off-road stuff. But there are places we shouldn't be riding those. Places that are beautiful. There was an issue a few years back about snowmobiles in Yellowstone in the wintertime. They were going to make them stop doing that, and people were throwing a fit. And I don't know. I've had a lot of the desert closed under me, and some parts I agreed with, some parts I didn't. The Yellowstone thing, I don't know. I'm not from there. I've never been there in the winter, and I'm not a snowmobile person, but it is Yellowstone. So, but anyway, as I said, I'm sure there are people out there who are 100% committed to the cause, but the environmentalist movement, I'm sure there are people in that movement that are serious about what they're doing, but the people that are running those shows, whether it's Greenpeace, the Sierra Club, those people really aren't interested in the environment anymore. They've pretty much proven that. They are interested in power and profit. It's sad, but it's true. I did a piece on mining. I'll link that in here, about the hypocrisy of the environmental left, about how they shut down our motorcycle trails because we were destroying the desert, but they're going out there and ripping mountains apart, knocking them down to little nubs in search of gold and silver. Depends on where the money is. And as far as the mining interests and stuff, I don't blame them. Hey, I'm a capitalist. But as far as the environmental movement, the environmentalists that are supposed to be protecting places like that, they're not. They're not protecting them. You throw a little money their way, and all of a sudden that part of the desert just really isn't that important. And I'm sure it's like that all over the world. There are a lot of issues I have with the environmentalist movement and the sheepish liberals who follow a lot of that. Can take global warming. They've already stopped using that term, except for some of the hardcore people, because it didn't accurately describe what was going on. Climate change? Okay. Climate is changing. The climate's changed hundreds of times. The geologic record proves that, and it did all that. It got cold and it got hot. It did all that stuff without man even being involved. There again, I'm not saying that we should just dump pollutants into the air and pollute our rivers and stuff. Of course we need to take care of the earth. Any idiot knows that. But the environmentalist movement take all this stuff too far. The EPA ruining farmers' lives because there's some rat on their property that's supposedly endangered. Who cares about rats? I don't care if they are endangered. They're disease-infested, destructive rodents. They serve no purpose. Who cares if they're all gone? I'd rather see that field full of alfalfa or almond trees or whatever than see it full of rats. Who cares? What else is there? Recycling. Oh, come on now. We all know that recycling is a scam. It really is. It doesn't, they talk about the jobs it creates and energy it saves, and that's just all a bunch of BS. It doesn't. It takes more energy to recycle a plastic bottle than it does to just make another one. And they talk about how many jobs recycling creates. Well, when you get into the real numbers of all that, it really doesn't create a lot of jobs. The jobs that it does create are menial, entry-level jobs. They're essentially people sorting trash. I saw a deal one time where a gal who had worked she worked for one of the government agencies. I don't recall which one, but she said give her a 35-mile square area out in the middle of nowhere, and she would solve America's landfill problems for the next 200 years. But the environmentalists should be all for something like that, but they're not. Why aren't they? Because who isn't going to let that happen? Who's not going to let one government agency run all that? The unions. The unions are so tied together with the waste and sanitation industry that they're never going to let go of it. I believe people would actually be killed if it was tried. I believe that it would come to that. But anyway, there's so much crap surrounding Earth Day that it's hard for people like me to take it seriously, even though, like I said, I'm all for conserving beautiful places and conserving our water and lakes and rivers and all. I don't think we should just be dumping pollutants and human waste into them. That's stupid. But Earth Day seems to be a much bigger deal in the United States than it is anywhere else. We end up getting raked over the coals for our contribution to pollution and things like that, and people around the world, or people in the United States, think we ought to be paying billions and billions of dollars a year because we're such nasty and dirty and mean people. But we're actually one of the better countries in the world, if not the best. Per capita and based on the industries we have. Sure, there are countries that don't pollute as much, but they don't have anything. But we have done a lot over the last 50 years to curtail the problems that we were causing. That's all done now. We don't have any more rivers that are going to catch on fire, or mines that are going to catch on fire and burn for 100 years underground. We've done a really good job of cleaning things up based on the messes that we did make. We don't do hydraulic mining anymore in America, but they do it in a lot of other places. They still dump raw sewage and raw industrial pollutants into water supplies in many countries. The industrial machine of China and in Russia, Ukraine, those countries over there, they really don't have any regulation when it comes to that stuff, still to this day. But we are the ones that ought to take Earth Day seriously. The rest of the world ought to take it seriously. Why don't you environmentalists and green weenies stop bitching at us, jump on a plane when the coronavirus is over, and go cry to the countries that are causing the problems. Leave us alone. We're doing a good job. So that's my take on Earth Day. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content. Happy Earth Day. We'll see you all later.